Today, the medical world is waging an apparently hopeless war against bacteria. Hopeless since the most effective weapon we know of, antibiotics, whether scarce or plentiful, are losing the battle against these diseases. The need to produce a sustainable, effective alternative has never been greater than it is now. Alejandra and Tobias, research scientists and entrepreneurs at Lund University in Sweden, have dedicated their lives to research into finding a natural alternative to antibiotics. It all started in the Kullaberg Nature Reserve in southern Sweden. Tobias's grandfather, Tage Kinblad, was a beekeeper for more than 80 years. It was he who introduced his grandson Tobias to the world of bees.
I grew up with a beekeeping grandfather who taught me that honey has been used as a folk medicine for thousands of years. Later on, as a researcher, I got curious to find out why. Together with Alejandra, we made this fantastic discovery. We found out that honeybees harbor the greatest lactic acid bacterial flora in the world. They produce hundreds of substances. These substances can kill off all the dangerous bacteria we have ever investigated.
Alejandra explains the difference between antibiotics and lactic acid bacteria.
Antibiotics are made from one single substance. Unlike the lactic acid bacteria that produce 100 of different substances. The substance from which antibiotics is created from is extracted from bacteria and molds existing in nature. This is a substance that pharmaceutical industry uses by cultivating it, extracting it, and creating pills against infections and diseases. But this means that only one single substance strikes at the bacteria. Eventually, the bacteria adapt and create defenses against this substance due to the widespread overuse of these pills. The bacteria learn to manufacture shields against our arrows. In order to deal with this problem, the pharmaceutical industry put new different substances into these pills, like shooting arrows and cannonballs at the same time. However, this only means that bacteria eventually build even stronger shields against these substances, causing antibiotic resistance to grow and spread.
Currently, it takes about 10 years from when the pharmaceutical industry releases a new antibiotic until bacteria develops resistance. Once a revolutionary cure, in only a couple of decades, antibiotics have become a significant problem.
The unique feature with bees' lactic acid bacteria is that they are consistent of different kinds of bacteria that work together to build up entire armies, producing hundreds of different active weapons. The lactic acid bacteria is like living antibiotic factories that is smart enough to manufacture what is needed and also to know to what extent.
This results in a system that prevents future antibiotic resistance, a sustainable method developed by nature itself.
The basic idea of antibiotics needs to undergo a revolution from the static substance that generates resistance to a formulation that is active and viable that generates protection.
In the past decade, the research undertaken within Alejandra's and Tobias's research team has, in a number of studies, shown that the 13 lactic acid bacteria triumph over everything that gets in their way. At laboratory level, tests have shown that they triumph over everything from dangerous terrorist bacteria such as anthrax to bacteria that bring on tonsillitis or chronic ulcers. Last year, they performed studies using a pilot product on 10 horses that had mud fever. All types of medication had been tried previously, even antibiotics, with no result. With treatment from Tobias and Alejandra using the lactic acid bacteria from the honey-producing tract of bees, they all recovered in between 8 and 21 days. Taking place right now is a pilot project using human patients, with everything hinting at the treatment-producing results this time, too. In addition to this study, the research team is at present looking at how these superbacteria can be delivered in functional food and beverages that resemble the use of honey as folk medicine, although now in a standardized form. Despite their fantastic results, the small research team that Alejandra and Tobias run has found it difficult to make themselves seen and heard, with funding instead going to large research groups with well-known research scientists and large contact networks. As things stand today, lots of Alejandra's and Tobias's projects operate unfunded, with these research scientists' fervent commitment being the only driver.
If we reach our first goal, we will be able to produce preventive food and drinkable products against bacterial infections, but also to produce products against chronic wounds.
We want to help those who need it the most and give our products to non-profit organizations for distribution in developing countries. In order to do so, we need an ongoing and secure production, something we hope to have in place during the first year. Now we have reached a point where we can launch pilot products in parallel with further research.
In addition, we control the entire chain, from research to products, that will ensure that your contribution will make a real difference.
Without funding, however, there is a risk of those visions remaining only visions. With the help of your financial contribution, they will have all of the conditions for success. With more than 10 years of research behind them, and with access to patents, laboratories, pilot products, and production environment, the research team is ready in the starting blocks. It will be possible to start creating products and medical solutions right away, based on the living antibiotics constituted by the lactic acid bacteria. Together with you, we will be taking up the fight against antibiotic resistance and improving the situation for people all over the world. Want to come along for the ride? Together, we can make history.